Episode 86 of What If Civilization Started Over. Let's get into it. So, last episode we saw the end of World War V. And the reason I made, combine the peace treaty with the, the video, unlike the normal way how I just make a whole separate video for the peace treaty, is because there's not as many episodes left in the series. The series will be ending on episode 100. Confirmed. Confirmed by me. Will be ending in 186. 15 more episodes to go, including this episode. So, let's get into it. So, well, we're going to be starting in the Alliance layer, as the war doesn't really have a purpose for the Hexagon Alliance. Oh wait, these guys don't count as they joined in on the war, but all these countries here that are currently in the Alliance were in the war initially, when the war started. And well, we're going to be seeing some of them leaving. As all these countries here in Central Asia, the two Persian countries, and basically all Asian countries leave the alliance. And also, all the African countries will also be leaving the alliance. And well, eventually, Ukraine, with a lot of its influence lost, and the alliance is just going to collapse. And there's no alliances in the world. That's something. We are going to be starting in Ukraine actually because Ukraine is having a lot, and I mean a lot of issues, as they are having a civil war. That's a pretty big issue, as the southern Turkish areas rebel. The Ukrainians, with basically no morale left in their country after World War V, nuclear radiation is everywhere and people are rebelling. They do not want this Ukrainian empire still here. And well, Ukraine is just going to fall. Not yet, but who knows, as the Green country will be joining in on this war in order to invade it. And then the Polish country is going to join in on this war as well in order to invade Ukraine. Ukraine still has power, so they will be able to make an offensive over in this country and will actually be able to push back greatly against the Green country. And they will be losing their capital, as the Green country is going to be forced to surrender. And they are going to be starting to win the war, until the Blue Rebellion, or a different rebellion, is going to break away in the Caucasian area. As, well, this is a pretty big rebellion, as these people do not want to be Ukrainian, even though they just got Ukrainian occupation. But the Ukrainians will still be able to push back over in this area, like this. Until the Blue Rebellion is going to start pushing back against this country, and the Red country is actually going to join the war and will start pushing back. As it's been a couple years since World War V has ended, and, well, countries are against this Ukrainian thing. And then, the big event, Russia declares war on Ukraine. As the Russians send their troops over into this country, the country will be falling. As another rebellious group, another one is going to be popping up. And this one is going to be this size, as the country is going to be collapsing over time. And eventually, the Polish will be occupying this area, and this giant thing is encircled. And eventually, the Red country will occupy this area, and the Blue country will occupy the rest of this. And Poland will occupy this tiny territory. As eventually, the Russians will be going ahead and eventually surrounding the Ukrainian areas, as Ukraine loses their capital to Russia. And we can look at the peace treaty of Crimea. And this is the peace treaty of Crimea. The capitals of these countries will be here and here and here, as three countries are released. This lime country over in Caucasia, it's going to look like this. This blue country over here, and it's going to look like this. And this yellow country here. This green country is going to be gaining this land. The red country is going to be gaining this land. Poland is going to gain this land. Ukraine is going to lose its capital, as Ukraine is, the rest of it is annexed by Russia, and Ukraine is off the map. And then countries are going to decide to do an investigation of this whole era thing. Like, what happened? What happened to this Mediterranean rebellion? People were wondering. It just kind of popped out of nowhere, basically. And they're going to do some digging in the capital of Rome, also known as the old capital of the Mediterranean Empire. They're also going to do some digging in the two capitals of the yellow and the blue team. They don't find anything in the yellow team's capital or the blue team's capital. But in the red team, in the Roman's capital, they are going to find something very interesting. Secret documents that the Mediterranean Empire was being funded a lot by a foreign power. And they don't know that foreign power. And then they go deep down into the capital, a secret bunker, and find that China was funding the Mediterranean Empire rebellion and basically caused the empire to come real. And what does the world have to say about this? The world is shocked. Like, China. What? Everybody says? And China's like, we did that. The world is just confused. Like, okay, but they can't do anything. China's the strongest country in the world currently. Oh wait, I forgot to remove America's alliance. Now there's no alliances in the world. But we're going to be going back to Europe for now, as this country is having more stability issues, this red one. Oh wait, I forgot to erase this. Yeah. As a bright lime country is going to be breaking away from the red country, and if you know Wixar history, this country is been here before. I'm just keeping colors for consistency, as this thing is going to be breaking away. And this thing is very unstable, so they're just going to allow it. And this is the peace treaty, as the Lime team is back. Well, we already have a few Lime teams. The most historical Lime team in this is probably Egypt. Yeah. But we're going to be going over to Germany, as the new Golden Republic is going to be breaking away from Germany. If you know history of this country, you'll know that the gold team, or history of this area, the gold team used to span a lot of Europe, like ancient times a while ago, kind of. So this thing will be breaking away in the southern parts of the country, and well, we can look at a peace treaty, as this thing is also going to have a division in it. And this is the peace treaty, and what is known as the two Golden Republics break away from Germany. And very quickly, Europe is becoming even more divided. And lots of stuff is happening. And another thing is going to be happening in America. Because America is having a lot of stability issues occupying all of its World War V territory. And America is currently one of the most unstable countries in the world. And that alongside China. And when we go to America, actually we're going to be seeing a pretty large rebellion take place, as these southern areas will be declaring independence from America. But not just these areas, also Central American areas will be declaring independence. And America isn't going to be able to do anything, as they're just going to let these areas become independent. And this is what the treaty looks like, as these three countries break away from America, and America basically just lets them go. Yeah. We're going to be going over to Africa now, specifically in the Horn of Africa country. As well, this country here, this yellow country, is going to be joining up with this country. The yellow country originally broke away from this country, but documents will say that the rebellions in this country over in this country and all the other major rebellions around the world, such as the Papua New Guinean rebellions as well, were all funded by the Mediterranean Empire. Yeah. In these areas, some of them are sovereign, but this green country isn't, as they want this union. But this country is going to resign, so they're going to declare war on it, as they will quickly be able to go ahead and, well, we can look at the peace treaty, which looks something like this. And Africa has another great country in it. Yeah. When we go to the Middle East, this country is not liked by anybody. So, well, Egypt is going to be forming a coalition with Turkey, themselves, the Iran countries, and every country around this country in order to take it down. As, personally, I don't really like it. Yeah. And that's part of the reason. But nobody else really likes this as well, as this thing is a dictatorship. As it's becoming more dictatorship like yeah. Very nice word. Like dictatorship like First, Egypt takes the capital of this country, and this country is forced to surrender, and we can look at the division of it. And after I erase the capital, this is the peace treaty, as this thing is divided. Yeah, time to go somewhere else. Yeah, very nice. Where do we go now? This is sort of some of the events that happen now. Oh my, I forgot to erase. Now it's officially no alliances in the world. Okay, let's so basically, the world is kind of at peace right now. The world isn't really doing much. And nothing major is really happening. There's the occasional war here and there, and the occasional giant Chinese empire. But there's still collapses of many countries. Well, and countries are rebuilding over time. Yeah. And so far, it's working out well for them, as almost every country in the world is prospering at this moment, as nobody wants to fight. Everybody wants to trade with each other, except rebellious groups, and the occasional war. But something else is going to happen over in Poland, as Lithuania rebels away from Poland, and Polish republics are going to start breaking away from the unification of Poland. As these republics, some of them don't really like Poland, so they're just going to break away. And, well, the Polish Civil War is not really good, as the Lithuanian rebellion is going to be going ahead and taking the capital of Poland. And eventually Poland is going to be forced to surrender. We can look at the division of Poland. And this is the division of Poland. Yeah, as Poland doesn't exist anymore. And, well, yeah, stuff. Wait, there's still a tiny piece of capital here. Yeah. Time to go to America again. As the Texas Revolution is happening over in America. America's really unstable right now. As Texas is just going to break away, and America is just going to let it. As Texas rebels away from America. And, well, their capital's going to be there. And currently, it's not really stable in the world right now, specifically in China and America. Countries still don't like China, but ever since World War V, they've been rebuilding to try to catch up with Chinese technology. And the war kind of blew itself up when it decided that to like make World War V happen. And China didn't join in, so they have very advanced technology right now. But the world is catching up. Yeah, but the world is a lot more peaceful in this region. And these two countries are really looking to unite. But guess what's not allowed? The Mediterranean Empire reuniting. Because in the peace treaty, the Mediterranean was banned. Yeah, the Mediterranean Empire reuniting was literally banned in the peace treaty. Yeah. And the world is prospering from it, so they appreciate that. But we are going to be looking at some new alliances that form. Specifically, the new Square Alliance, formed by Russia itself. As this tiny new Lithuanian country is going to be joining it, and also the Turkish country is going to join it. And then shortly after, Rome is going to join this alliance. And people are saying around the world, oh no, we don't go again, as this country joins it. But the alliance is going to be made in combination of this, as this country is going to be forming an alliance against the Russians this time. Historically, the Iberian country, this one has been historically aligned with Russia. Just look at the start of the series. Yeah. And Russia and Europe is already becoming chaotic. And it's been a couple years since the invasion of Ukraine, so the Caucasian country is going to be invaded by Russia. And very quickly, it's non-existent. Yeah. This is the peace treaty. And Russia is regrowing. And the next country it's going to go after is this country. But first, this area is going to rebel away from this country, as it's basically the most populated region in the Siberian country. But then Russia is going to join in on this and very quickly invade it, as they will be going ahead and taking the capital in the Siberian region, as they go ahead and swarm this country. And we can look at a peace treaty. is the peace treaty, and well, this is the lands that are taken. The new Siberian country's capital is going to be here, and the capital is gone. And it looks like Russia is sort of rebuilding itself. Time to go to this country, as the pink team is continuing its expeditions in order to try to reform its empire. And it's going to be invading this country to do it, as they once occupied areas in this lake. As they will go ahead and take the capital of this area, and well, they will quickly be able to knock the country out, as the country quickly surrenders, and it's going to be fully annexed. Yeah. And the pink team is looking kind of threatening for some of these Asian countries, as some of them believe that this thing, like, they don't not really like that they're trying to reform their ancient empire. And they don't really believe that it's a really good idea, as they might collapse, or get taken over by the giant empire called China. Yeah. And that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. See you in the next episode, and bye!